Hello everyone and welcome back to another Pony&Wolf Productions video. My name is Visual Pony and today we are reading the story A Pastry Chef's War by Lettuceatron9000. I really hope that I pronounced this name correctly, but I'm fairly certain that if I didn't, some of you will correct me. So, this thumbnail's a little picture of the story kinda intrigued me and I am hungry for more pony. I hope you are too, and don't forget, here's an amazing list of those amazing people who keep donating to our amazing channel and keep us alive and give us a food budget that gives us food, which we desperately need. Because without food we cannot live, and without living we cannot record these stories, and you want to have more stories, don't you? Also, don't forget that there's this wonderful, wonderful merch store down there, and also we have activated super thanks and all that, so that you can support the channel if you really want to. If you don't want to spend money on us, then there is always a way of liking and subscribing and sharing this video. And now let's get into the meat of the story, because I am fairly certain that I am annoying you a great deal right now. Dear Princess Twilight. Dear Princess Twilight, I'm a Ponyville resident born and raised. So you know, for a change, I thought I'd try and write to my local authority and put my viewpoint out there. As a princess of friendship, I understand that you'd most probably be the one of the first to favor negotiations over warfare, and that's why I write to you today. They don't prepare you for what you find out there in war, and by the gods, I wasn't ready for what I saw. The buffalo are a formidable foe, using new age guerrilla tactics and all manners of methods that we weren't quite ready for. Much different to what I was taught in the Officers' Academy, I can tell you that much. Their ace, Corn Cattle, is a force to be reckoned with. Near enough took out my entire squad and we can't even find the bugger after he's done. There one moment and gone the next. We reckon the buffalo have a series of tunnels going all throughout the desert. We've only managed to find a few entrances, but we can't make head or tails of what we found. Some of our bunch have begun to scout out what they can and mark it down. There are so many false leads down to throw us off, it's a wonder they can make any sense of it at all. I will say those pies can do some real damage. I still think about my old squad mate Brightforge. Still alive of course, but he took a direct hit from a pie and boom! But that wasn't just it. The barrage kept going, one after the other, even after he was downed. The poor soul could hardly look at a pie after that, and was sent home because of the trauma. Unfortunately, a similar story for many of us out here in the desert. Even if we are not taken out by a pie thrown directly at us, the buffalo are smart and are masters of trapping the environment. One wrong step and you can find yourself in a pie pitfall. That's what it says on the tin. They dig a big hole, fill the bottom with pies, and lay a tarp on the top that blends in perfectly with the floor. That's not even the worst of it. They've even found a way to rig tripwires to launch a pie on a spring straight into the victim's face. Enough force in one of those to knock a pony out right then and there. Seen it for myself with one of our privates, Celestia bless his soul. Our numbers eventually start to dwindle, and then sure enough the fresh recruits start to roll in. Most of them conscripts straight out of school, eager and blind to the fight they find themselves in. I give them a week and sure enough their expression and demeanor start to change. Watching friends get taken out by pies will do that to a pony. The creeping realization that it's only a matter of time before it's their turn begins to set in. The Griffin Expeditionary Forces are something else too. There is nothing else quite like them. When they promised a good pay, they perform with ruthless efficiency. Heck, they go beyond ruthless and into entirely new ground. Considering their seemingly small standing army, it seems like they've pulled what they have in making their foe the best of the best. And from what I've seen, I'd argue that they're much closer to mercenaries than a traditional fighting force. Of course, there's the odd groan from our troops that the Griffins are getting paid a premium from the brass compared to our standard wage. But looking at what they can do, it's easy enough to see the logic. The Griffins can fly, of course, and that means a whole new tactical advantage. One of the griffins managed to sneak behind a buffalo and slam a pie right in their eye. Our inside intel of the buffalo medical record suggests that they were seeing red past the cranberries for days. Not a fate I wish on any pony, but if the Hun are going to fight dirty, then the idea is why shouldn't we? This blasted war has already gone long enough, and I can already see myself becoming more and more partial to ideas that would have left a sour taste in my mouth back in civilian life. I've rambled on long enough. My bottom line is this: get us away out of this place. I've managed to make it this far, but as a result I've seen what this war has done to us. The ones who make it out of this place go back different ponies. Ponies that would ordinarily go on to do what their hearts desired. How is Sergeant Bellfeather going to pursue her dream of starting a pastry baking business in Cloudsdale when even looking at a pie brings her back to times she'd rather forget? Stop the draft. Convince Celestia. Do whatever it takes to get our ponies out of here. This isn't our war to fight. It is in Equestria's best interest to see the annexation of the Buffalo lands. Isn't it gonna do it anymore? Ponies may come into this place filled with the propaganda they'd fed in basic training, but I can assure you it doesn't take long for that to be all but put aside. And that gets them to think. Rumors are already starting to spread about this whole operation being employed to exploit the natural resources in the Buffalo lands, and Appaloosa just so happens to line up to be as a perfect escalation. How long before the sentiment makes it home? I know you're smart enough to realize this isn't a war we can win. Keeping us here will just lead to more and more ponies lost to the dreaded pie barrages that plague us each night and day. I trust in you to at least try and do the right thing. Writing with great reverence, 2nd Lieutenant Shotbow.
This time, I make the comments because Luna is a big old meanie. I'll get my revenge when I have taken over the world. And that is where I need your help. Go ahead. Like and subscribe. Also share this video with your friends and family. And don't forget to check out my Slaw, Humans Patreon and merch store. Building an evil empire is expensive. A war fought with pastries, what a waste. But I can totally see this story being at least a little bit political commentary for the current times, or maybe I am simply reading too much into it. Be that as it may, it very much shows the horrors of war and that in war, there are no winners. Therefore, my male human